Remember the last time you played a tabletop RPG and your friend cast the fireball spell, killing all the enemies and exploding your whole adventuring party? I know they say that living well is the best revenge. Well, how about you play as a living fireball spell and let revenge be the best revenge with Battlezoo Ancestries Year of Titans. Once a month for the next year, you'll receive a unique playable species you won't find anywhere else for your D&D 5th Edition or Pathfinder 2e games. Now you can play as a living spell, a skillful cyclops, a wicked troll, or even a mighty kraken. And those are just the ones I can pronounce. An hair jar?
It's pronounced ein hairyar.
Say tires?
It's satyrs.
Okay, I think I got this one. Dual hand.
Doulahan. It's a headless horseman from Irish folklore, you gigantic tit.
Every month you'll receive a new PDF or Foundry VTT module, along with handmade battle maps, tokens for your virtual tabletop, both static and animated, and detailed in-world lore entries, allowing you to easily add these unique species to your next tabletop session. All this and more for less than a monthly Egg McMuffin. Delicious. Head on over to the link in the description to learn more, because if you sign up for the Kickstarter, you'll get a bonus species a year early, the Mighty Titan. That's 13 unique species throughout 2025 to amaze your friends and family. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to call my dungeon master and tell them that I'm going to be playing as Godzilla from now on. Godzilla. Hey there, Internet. My name is Jack Packard. I am your dungeon master for Adventure is Nigh, and I am here with Yahtzee Croshaw.
Hello, I've got a mouthful of lunch, sorry. And I play Mortimer Rafflesworth Everwin Smythe, the half-elf, half-ever-lot-of-things con artist.
Half-elf, full mouth. That's what we call them.
There you go.
Also, Casey Wosu.
Hi guys, I play Sigmar Iceblood. He's an archer who's ASMR, whose affection for knives is grossly misunderstood.
I think we understand it just fine, and we don't like it. Also, Amy Campbell.
Hi, I play Dabarella Yeatster, the cat who just really likes food.
And Jesse Galena.
And I play Grinderbin, the business mushroom who unfortunately is way too trusting.
So last time on Adventure is Nigh, not only was the party split, the party was triple split, miles apart from each other. This episode might be a little weird, as we're going to get deep into the roleplay aspect of it, as now you, the players, will know information that your characters don't, so I will be keeping an extra eye on any sort of metagaming shenanigans.
Okay, we'll be good boys.
I won't, but...
For example, Grinderbin went to buy some magical components and ended up giving away a little too much information and is now trapped in a discount liquor store.
And pawn shop.
and pawn shop, absolutely.
You made him sound like an alcoholic.
Grinderbin is unaware that there was a cave-in in the mines, which left Mortimer and Dabarella surrounded by weird naked people, and Sigmar and Popper's glow stick ended up in an unusually large tunnel, most likely belonging to King Fuzzyhug. Everyone is in separate places. To start this off, we are going to pick up where Mortimer and Dabarella left off. After the cave-in, both Mortimer and Dabarella, you actually landed on some giant glowing mushrooms in an unusually dark cave room, and all around you, you see incredibly pale, blue-skinned, nude people. You also see some sleeping sacks. The cave walls are covered with these like mossy roots and spider webs. This looks kind of like people live here. but the people are fully nude. And they're all looking at you, and one of them, let's see here, this one, oh, no, that's them flipping around. This one steps up to Dabarella and just goes,
Okay, Dabarella, don't panic. Let's think about this.
Okay.
The beds and cooking pot indicate intelligence, so they're obviously attempting to communicate. However, a note of caution, because you remember that dead dwarf we found in the cave above that wasn't killed by a worm or a cave-in?
Uh-huh.
I think it was these guys. So, what's the plan, leader?
Dabarella points at the cooking pot and goes, food?
you pointed the cooking pot and go, food. The nude creature that kind of went up to you and went, looks over at the cooking pot and says,
Sorry, didn't quite catch that.
oh, sorry. She looks over there and she looks back and says,
Okay. Well, just to get it out of the way, I'm just gonna say hello in every language I know, which is Thieves' Cant, Common, Elvish, and Dwarfish.
okay. They all are still looking at you, very glazed over, like giant underground eyes, very glazed over, no reaction to saying hello in different languages.
Okay.
Dabarella still has that Mary Berry in her bag, which is for wisdom and intelligence checks.
Okay.
I don't, would it potentially make them slightly more easy to communicate with? I have no idea.
The
That
one
you get
day
to
I
do
don't
whatever
equip
you
the
want.
comprehend languages spell. Okay, can we try to infer their meaning from their body language? Can we do a roll for that?
Sure. How would you like to play that? Dabarella, do you want to use your Mary Berry? You tell me what you want to do.
I'm going to request an insight check to try to divulge their intentions.
Okay.
Okay?
I'm also
roll
of half a mind to just take the clothes off and see what happens. But
I'm thinking they might not be able to see us. They might be blind.
It's a thought.
All
Well-
right, Mortimer, you have a 21 insight check. With your insight check, what I will say is you don't infer anything hostile towards you. 21's a heck of an insight. So what I will say is it does appear like they are looking directly at you. They see you. They are making mouth sounds at you. What I will say is the mouth sound questioning in nature.
Okay. Mortimer will point upwards and then go, rumble, 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 rumble. And then
With your whole body.
Yeah, and then mime falling down something and then displaying my hands.
I love it. Okay, yeah, and all of them look at you, and you hear them start to talk amongst each other, and they're and they all they do the rumble noise.
The whole room's good.
Yeah, and they understand rumble is basically, based off of your old insight check, they all get rumble, and they look at you and they seem pleased with rumble.
Okay, well, we're getting somewhere.
who wouldn't like to rumble?
They seem pleased with rumble, and at that, we're gonna cut over to Sigmar.
Okay.
So Sigmar, you are in this stupidly big tunnel, a tunnel colossal in size, because you did some investigation and an insight check last time, I forget which one it was exactly, you see giant claw marks all along the floor and walls and ceiling. You can assume this was a cavern made by the colossal King Fuzzy Hug. And Poppers Poppers is there. Okay, all right. No, cave-ins happen all the time. Usually, though, the rocks just fall on us. We don't fall into other things, though. Oh, jeez.
But you're doing all right there, Pops? How you feeling? Are you all right?
You know, I more take care of like the paperwork aspects of mining. Like I know how to mine, I know how to dig holes, but now we are in a very big hole that I didn't make, and I'm just feeling a little.
All right, Poppers, calm down. I mean, you are the mine master, right? Like, if anyone knows kind of what's going on in a giant hole, it's you. Yes.
No, you're right. You're right.
So
you're right.
I'm gonna need your help if we're gonna figure out how to get back where we came from.
Okay. All right. And yeah, like he does his best to kind of like peer down, each of these.
Right, because they're both like endless looking, right?
Basically, like, and there's no light down there. And even though, like, he's like, I have, I can see in the dark. I don't need light to see, but I can't see the end of it. That doesn't mean I can see in infinity. I can't see either way. We gotta make a call here. We got to make a call. I have no idea how far we fell, or we got to pick a direction, I think.
Question.
Yeah.
I'm completely out of flashbang arrows?
Yes, you have. You had 3 of them, and I believe you have used all 3 of them.
Right. Okay. Also, I remember having light cantrips. I don't know if I had to remove them to like put other stuff on. But I don't see it in my list anymore. But I used to be able to just make a light. Wait, no, I have innate spellcasting called Daylight. It says a 60-foot radius sphere of light spreads out from a point you choose within range. The sphere is bright light and sheds dim light for an additional 60 feet. If you choose a point or on an object you're holding or isn't being worn or carried, the light shines from the object and moves with it, completely covering the affected object with an opaque, such as the bull helm, blah, 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 blah.
Ooh, okay. You have a spell to illuminate.
Okay, so I want to cast Daylight. Like, hey, you don't mind if I turn you into a giant light bulb, do you? I promise it won't hurt.
You promise?
I am 99.9% sure. I don't know about dwarven physiology, but you're a living thing, so pretty much you'll be fine. It's just light. We just need to see a little better.
We have the light casters sometimes, like cast lights on our clothing, and that doesn't seem to hurt us. So yeah, go ahead.
Pretty much same concept. So here we go.
Okay, great.
So I
go
ahead and cast Daylight on Poppers' shirt. So like he's just a beacon that where I know where he is at all times, and wherever he is, he's illuminating like 60 feet of light.
Sure. I like it. Here, let's give Poppers some daylight here. How do we feel? Oh, there we go. Boom.
Oh, nice.
Poppers is now irradiating this orangey yellowy daylight, and now you can clearly see the cave walls that have these scratch marks all over it. What you can see above you is the remnants of a hole, of the hole you fell through, but it is now completely caved in. It seems to
so the hole above us is closed. Like, is there like rubble around? Like, is there anything we can climb up to be closer to it?
You can see like giant rocks like sticking out,
right, okay.
And so like you can see where the hole was, but it is now like closed basically.
All right, so we can really only go from my perspective left or right. Like, I don't know what direction we're facing.
Pretty much. And yeah, Poppers is like, I don't know what direction we're facing either. We fell a lot. There was a lot of tumbling. So any direction could be any direction. I just don't know. Why don't you give me a perception check?
That sounds ominous.
As it should.
Not great.
A 12. You don't notice anything in particular.
All right. This is the only thing I can think to do, Poppers. I'm gonna need you to trust me. I know we just met, but I think we're in a bit of a pickle here. I want to let you know, and don't panic when I tell you this. I think the giant worm we're searching for basically goes through this tunnel. I don't necessarily want to get caught when he decides to come back through here, so we've got to find some sort of exit.
Oh, crap. Great. And then will you tell me what a pickle is?
No, I will not.
Okay, no, that's fair. That's fair. That's an upsider thing. Okay, great. Well, then, let's, I mean, right, no wrong answer. We just gotta pick a direction. Unless, I mean, I guess one could be the wrong answer. Oh, I'm not good at adventuring.
Like, I'm thinking maybe we should split up. But I'm wondering how we communicate with each other if one of us were to find something.
That's why we don't split up, by the way. It's a very bad idea to split up, especially if you're in any sort of danger situation.
Yeah,
you
tell me
stick
about
together.
it.
All right, you're the mind master. I'll defer to your wisdom.
That's rule number one when we are talking about our groups in the mind. Always a clear mode of communication and always stick together.
All right, fair enough. Well, I'm just going to have to defer to my ASMR teachings. And Sigmar takes an arrow out of his quiver. He tosses it in the air. And I guess, I don't know, you can 50-50 dice roll this or something if you want. But like, if it lands with the point down, then we go right. If it lands sideways, then we go left.
Okay, so point down is head, sideways is tails.
Sure.
Heads, point down.
So we're going right.
So we're going right. Let's go.
All right, I also pick up my arrow back. I know we're not doing ammo, but he doesn't want to, litter down here.
That's smart. Wow, this cave goes on for a long time. And then we will cut back to Kick's Magic Emporium and Discount Liquor. So, when we left here, Grinderbin, you had let on that you were an upsider. Kick was attempting to talk you into maybe staying with him and his friends after you made it clear you were uncomfortable in leaving. Kick clicked a button and locked the front door. And so he's like, yeah, I think it'd be best if you just stayed here for a little bit. And Kick,
Right.
You know what? Let's just get right into it.
Oh no! Not initiative. No, I had a plan.
I just want to see who does what in what order. This does not necessarily mean combat. This just means stuff is about to happen, and I want to see what happens first. Oh boy! Oh boy, indeed.
Ooh, good roll. Good roll.
Good roll.
A synthetic 20.
A synthetic 20 and
GMO 20.
and Fleagle gets a 12. And so Grinderbin, you do get to do whatever you would like to do first. What you see is like Fleagle starts reaching into his jacket pocket.
Sweet. Okay, so thankfully get to act first. Grinderbin is going to grab their waterfowl language umbrella, which has the magical power of when you open and close it at someone and quack loudly, it inflicts terror on that creature. So, gonna grab it, freaking do it right in their face, across the counter.
Yes.
Going, quack, quack, quack. This is terrible customer service. And like, my goal is to, if I can kind of corral them, getting them to go towards that doorway to the back.
Okay, so let's see here. So you are attempting to like magically create terror in Fleagle, right?
Yeah.
And so let's see here. I'm going to say Fleagle needs a and we can work on this together. We're gonna need a wisdom saving throw of some kind to see whether or not he realizes that you're just flapping an umbrella. So what is your spell save DC?
My spell save DC is 15.
Is 15. Okay.
Hang on, I think it's in here. Yeah, it's 15.
Okay, great. So I'm going to say he needs a wisdom saving throw of over 15 in order to not succumb to terror. Wisdom saving throw. Here, we will make this public and Fleagle kick, go!
Ooh.
Close.
Come on,
That
have
is-
a low wisdom. Have a low wisdom.
He has +0 to wisdom, so that is a 14. So you start flapping your umbrella. He's like, hey, wait a minute. No. Oh, wait, whoa. What's that doohickey? Oh, no.
Quack.
And so you're trying to like corral him into the back room?
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely, yeah. So he starts instinctually backing away from you. Oh, God. I can't deal with that. Who?
Oh, this waterfowl freaking goose feather umbrella, greatest item ever. Okay, so getting him in there, I'm gonna take a. Is there a door on this?
There's a door there. Yes.
I'm gonna take a. Okay. Quick question. For action economy's sake, because this is kind of weird. To shut the door and cast a spell, would that be all of my next? That would be all of the rest of my turn.
Well, technically speaking, your waterfowl is your action.
Okay, got it.
You can shut the door as just a regular object interaction.
Got it.
Like technically speaking, like I guess he shouldn't have moved, but we're just allowing that.
Yeah.
But you can shut the door, but to cast another spell, that's going to be another action, which you'll have to wait until your next turn.
Okay, I'm gonna keep quacking at him then, but I will do a investigation.
Okay.
While I'm back here, trying to see if I can see that button that he pushed.
Sure. So you're gonna leave? Are you gonna leave the door open, or are you gonna close the door?
I can't hold it shut. I'm gonna keep flapping the thing to try and keep him in that room.
Great. All right. So yeah, give me an investigation check then.
26.
Oh.
Nice.
I mean, with a 26, like it's not even like there is like literally kind of like a giant wooden lever painted red that says lock the door this way, unlock the door this way. It's just right. Like you look over and it's right there. It's not even
Okay. Then I will continue to quack and open and close the umbrella to try and keep him at bay. And I moved and that's my action. So that's the end of my turn.
Okay, yeah, and Fleagle, here, it's your turn. So Fleagle, on your turn, usually how these kind of spell, like mind-altering spell works, is on their turn they have a chance to roll to get out of it. And so we're going to do another Wisdom saving throw to see if he is still terrified. Ooh, all right. And so as you're kind of flapping, you start like, you look at the door, you're flapping, you're like, oh, there's the switch, and he's like, whoa, wait a minute, hey, that's just an umbrella. Get out of my head. I don't. All right, you. And he reaches into his pocket and he pulls out a scroll, and he unfurls a scroll, and he says, Biggie, get down to the shop, bring the boys, and the scroll disappears.
Ooh.
And then he starts. He walks towards you. He has used his action, so he can't do anything. But he is right up next to you. And that brings it to your turn.
Sweet. All right. I know where the button is.
It's a giant red lever. Yes.
Here's what I'm gonna do. What's that? 5. Oh, there we go. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Sweet. I can make it outside. I cast Mage Hand to flip that lever because I can cast it within 30 feet.
So yes, you rush around the counter, get right to the door, Mage Hand, clink, the door. You hear that chunk sound, and the door is unlocked.
Sweet. I wish I had a good one-liner for this, but I don't. I'd be like, you should really not be so much of a xenophobe. And then I'm gonna go outside because I have 5 feet left.
It was about profit. I don't dislike you based off of where you're from. I don't want you to get the wrong idea about me. I was interested in kidnapping you purely for profit reasons, not because of where you reside from or where you came from. This isn't a racial or xenophobic thing.
It's not helpful. It's still. You should also not be in humanoid trafficking. That's equally as bad, possibly worse.
This is very like he's saying all of this as you are running out.
Yeah, like peek head back in to say that, and then back outside.
And yes, and so you hop outside, and there is a the dwarf who took you here, Teabag, is what I want to. No, not Teabag. Morbid.
Yeah, Morbid.
That's who it was. Morbid is just sitting there in the cart, just going, "Oh, hey, did you find all the stuff you were looking for?"
No, and we gotta go.
Okay, sure.
Gun it. Gun it. Or I guess crossbow it. We don't have guns.
What? I'm not supposed to do that. You hop on the cart, and you and Morbid, dart out of there. Definitely not enough time for Fleagle's backup to arrive. You hightail it out of there, and where are you going now? What's your plan?
A, GTFO. B,
right, of course.
Out of character action, did I already make the money exchange for the scrolls? Because I have the potions, but I don't know if I exchanged money for the scrolls yet.
He was supposed to deliver something too, right?
I believe
tomorrow, yes.
you did hand the money for the scrolls to in order to create a scroll, you need a day.
Mm-hmm.
As a reminder, you also told him where you were going to be.
Oh, in the mine. Oh shoot, I did say that, didn't I?
Yeah, so
Well,
not
Get
saying nothing.
With all the cave-ins, that might not be as big of an issue.
The cave-ins that you don't know about, but
That's true.
but yes, you did hand over your money.
Wow. Well, that was a few hundred gold poorly spent.
You handed over your money, and you left the husk of the ghost bed there.
I did.
Oh, well.
But that was for the potions of healing, which I do have, so...
You got the potions of healing, and you got some pots of oil.
Oh, that's true. Not worth the hundreds of gold I just left at that horrible person's
Absolutely.
pawn shop and discount liquor store.
So in which direction are you heading?
Oh, man. Our best ally... is the queen.
You have to think about this in character.
Right.
As far as you know, all of your friends and adventuring companions are perfectly safe in the mine.
Right. And my main thing is I don't want to return to the mine without the things we need. And I really think we need comprehend language. So I'm going to go to the queen.
Okay, you are going to head back to the castle while we head back.
Yeah, comprehend language. Sure would be good, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it really would be.
It'd be really nice. I was looking over all the spells that you guys had. I was really sure one of you had this. This is why I made my characters in such a...
Yeah, I have the spell, I didn't equip it. So, Because,
Anyway,
I assumed I was equipping things for a big robot fight, remember?
Which you did a great job at. So last we left here, they were all doing the rumble dance.
Okay, rumble. Okay, my instinct tells me that these guys know about King Fuzzy Hugs. They possibly even worship him. So I'll do the rumble, and then I'll mime a worm going wiggly, 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 slime, big teeth. Wiggly, wiggly, wiggly worm whispers.
Fun. Yes, this one this one gets a little bit closer to you, Mortimer, and puts a hand on your shoulder. And she goes... and does rumble, worm back to you, and goes like this.
Okay, I will point to that conspicuous hole in the back of the room, and with a questioning look.
This one?
Yes.
So you point to that and give her a questioning look. And she goes,
I don't think we're getting anywhere here.
and she says, she does rumble, and then she waves you over and heads in that direction.
Okay.
Might as well follow her.
Yeah.
And she's over by the hole, and she's looking at you, and she goes,
Okay. Well, can I peer down the hole, see if I can see anything?
you absolutely can peer down.
Actually, Dabarella, you do that. You've got cat vision.
Alrighty. I would like to look down the hole.
And what you see down there is some more cave floor, though it does seem to be significantly more glowy down there. There is an eerie purple light emanating from down there.
So there's a purple light, and things are glowing.
Is the lady showing any inclination to go down the hole before us?
She's looking at the hole. Going,
Yeah, can I sort of like gesture saying, "Are you going first?"
oh, sure, yeah. And then she says, and happily goes down the ladder.
Okay, let's follow.
Yep. Down we go.
Down you go. All right, let me get.
I'm almost disappointed they weren't hostile because I got Thunderwave equipped and they were all within 15 feet.
Oh, dang. It's about to get fucked up.
All right, as you descend in the ladder, the cave floor and the cave walls are getting a distinctive hue to them, this like deep purpley hue. You're seeing a lot more moss-covered vines. You see like mushroom caps illuminating the walls and the floor space. It has a very eerie, magical vibe to it all. And there are several more of these pale naked folk. The thing that you would notice without even a check is these pale naked folk are kind of like clasped on to the plant life down there. They're holding on to all of the vines and the mushrooms and kind of just standing still. So you are down here, and this female presenting nude person is just like and starts walking in this direction.
Okay, I'm just intrigued to know what she thought we were talking about, so I'll
Yeah.
keep following.
You keep following?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, and as you get... Here, let me zoom out a little bit. As you get deeper in, basically what you're seeing down here is more and more living quarters. You see, little nooks and crannies with bedrolls and places that, like piles of dirt that people obviously sleep on. And more of these nude people, and none of them are moving. They are all just kind of clasped on to the cave walls or the vegetation. And you get to a little crossroads here, and again, it's just eerie stuff down here. Give me an insight check.
Okay.
Come on. 16.
And
And
18.
18.
Nice.
All right. So this nude lady is heading in this direction, saying rumble, saying she really enjoys rumble, very much into that. And as you get to this, hold on, there we go. As you get to this particular crossroad, you notice something a little strange. One is you see kind of this southerly exit that is completely encased in vines and vegetations. Like it's almost a doorway of vines and vegetations. But Mortimer, what I'm going to say is with your 18, as a bard, like a bard is magical by nature. You use the power of your voice, the power of story to kind of like tap into magical network. As you get here, you are sensing a strong magical aura coming from down this cavern. And you know, the nude lady is walking down this cavern saying, rumble, rumble, but you sense an aura in this direction. And I'm going to give you a moment to think about that as we cut back to the big cave.
I like that his name is Papa's Glow Stick and you've made him an actual glow stick.
Actual glow stick. Yeah, I did not even pick up on that.
Wow.
I didn't even realize that.
Really living up to his name.
KC, you're a genius.
An accidental one, yeah.
An accidental genius.
Freaking galaxy brain
Congratulations.
moment.
And so as you start walking through this massive tunnel with Poppers, you are walking for quite a long time. I'm going to say you've been walking for 15, 20 minutes without coming across a dang old thing.
It's worrisome.
But as you might have guessed, because we're cutting back to you, as you get to this particular spot, come here, Poppers. Come along with your light. As you get to this particular spot, you see a suspicious hole in the wall.
Yes, we do.
Uh-oh.
Like, Poppers, you see that?
Huh.
I rush over.
Yeah, I see that. I'm not sure.
Does this look familiar to you?
Hold on. Let me shine my stupid big light over there because I am glowing. I really dig this, by the way. Like, just seeing everything.
Yeah, it's a good look on you.
Thanks. What you see is the remnants of a little like campsite area.
What in the hell? Someone was living here?
Poppers peeks his head in and just says, "This doesn't look dwarvish to me." And you see like the bedroll looks much larger than would fit an actual dwarf.
There looks to be like stuff here. Like there's a chest and papers. Can I do like an investigation roll?
You absolutely can.
Can Poppers also try and investigate?
Yeah.
Since we're going through this together.
Poppers absolutely can. Yes. Okay. Let's see what we find. So Poppers starts like digging through the fireplace,
Flat
like
10.
find some very old pots and pans. A flat 10. For a flat 10, the thing that you can find immediately is some is an old notebook. You find an old discarded notebook.
Mulcut purse again.
Like I can read it, right? Like it's a language I can understand.
Yes, it is written in common, and it is a notebook from Mull Cuthbert.
Called it.
And I remember that, right?
again.
Like I have enough wherewithal to be like, yeah, that guy was the notes we found when we first got in the caves.
Exactly.
So can I read through that right now and say like, this is this guy again? I say that out loud.
Oh, what? You know a guy down here?
Like, have you ever heard of some wizard dude named Mull Cutpurse?
That name does not sound familiar to me. No.
All right, because your queen did mention it. So I don't know. I didn't know if it was like maybe a thing dwarves were like taught in school or whatnot. But this is his notebook. I think he's bad news. I'm going to read through it real quick.
Okay. So you read through it, and you know, like a lot of the pages are torn, a lot of the notes are smudgies, but here's what you are able to get. The information you are able to get from is this. I was able to sneak/bribe my way past the busy dwarves and made my way into the mountains. Remnants of Fuzzy Hug are scarce to find, and the trail is hard to follow. Yesterday I did come across something unusual. Small glowing mushrooms, and they called to me. Not with a voice, but with a yearning. And then some words are blurry, some of the, you know, the pages torn, and you start flipping through, and then you just see him say, you see a vision of, and again, some of the stuff is torn, and you keep flipping through, and the only words you can make out are so damn sexy.
If I didn't know any better, I'd say this guy's getting high on mushrooms. This is really weird. Have you ever seen mushrooms in these caves, Poppers?
Every once in a while, you know, we'll come across a tiny little mushroom. Yeah, I mean, you know, we'll pick them for foraging and stuff. Nothing, you know, there's not too much vegetation down here as far as the mines that we've been in.
Also, is it just me, or did like the lighting in this hole change?
The lighting does. I mean, the color palette in general definitely seems to be like skewing. The deeper we go in, skewing a little purple. Yeah. It was a real gradual change, but now that you mention it, yeah, seems like it's getting deeper and deeper. Especially with this daylight, you can really tell.
Yeah, you can. Daylight brings it out, right? Yeah.
Absolutely. Like all the rocks and stuff we're getting deep purple in here. Yeah.
I'm suspicious of what's ahead of us because of the change in light. Like it's not as hard to see because of that new light, but also there's a ladder here, and I think we need to see where the hell this goes.
Oh, I guess ladder implies that a person has been this way, and we know in the big tunnel only the giant worm has been there. So I agree with you. The ladder seems like the smart call.
Good point. All right, let's check this ladder stuff out. Also, I'm gonna see if there's any other items that I can scrounge from here.
First, give me a perception check.
Perception, gotcha.
Yeah.
Perceive, bitch.
With an 18, yes, you perceived the hell out of that. With an 18, as you take a moment, basically, when you were reading Mull's journal. That was the first time that you've been still since you've been down here. You've been walking around, you've been doing stuff. This is the first time that you actually stood still. You notice a distant rumbling in the ground. You can start to feel like a small vibration.
Not the rumble.
Ooh. Not the good rumble.
No,
okay,
that's
the only information I get.
With an 18. With an 18, it's coming closer.
Okay. I have an innate ability.
You have an innate ability
called Primeval Awareness. It says beginning at 3rd level, I can use an action and expend a ranger spell slot to focus my awareness on the region around me for 1 minute. Per level of the slot thing, you can sense whether the following types of creatures are present within 1 mile of you, or within the 6 miles if you are in your favorite terrain, which I'm pretty sure I haven't picked a favorite terrain.
You have not.
But it says aberrations, celestials, dragons, elementals, fae, fiends, and undead. I don't know what class whatever is around would be in, but it would have to be in one of those.
So you would like to, go full Aragon and fingers to the ground and see what you see. Yes, you sense a celestial coming closer to you. And
that's the only information I get, huh? Damn.
That's right, because that's what so that's what you know.
all right. So with that information, and I don't tell any of this to Popper because he's not going to be able to do anything with it. But my internal monologue says I still want to see what's up this ladder, but I'm less worried about the rumbling. It's I feel like there's at least some kinship because of the celestial connection.
Sure.
But I'm still going to go up the ladder right now. I may try to come back or address this later.
Okay, you're going to head down the ladder.
So the ladder goes down, okay.
The ladder goes to a hole in the ground, yes. I don't know if that's clear, but the ladder goes down to a hole. Through a hole.
All right, Poppers. I'm going to keep this journal.
Okay.
Let's head down.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's a really smart idea. Okay, and then we are going to cut back to Grinderbin. Grinderbin, you wanted to head to the castle. Morbid drives you to the castle, takes you, and obviously the castle guards know you, and you run to the castle where you see Moped Crimbenson chatting it up with one of the queens who is holding Albert the shovel and having a delightful time.
Gonna come in and be like, oh, it is so good to see some friendly faces again. Oh.
Whoa, hey, Grinderbin. Look, Albert found a new friend.
I'm so glad some people are finding friends out here. That's really good. Unfortunately, me and everybody else is unfortunately in a bit of a pickle here.
And the queen looks over to you and goes, "What's a pickle?"
Oh, a pickle is, if you take a wall, like that concrete brick stone wall you have right there, anything that you would put between the two of those would be a pickle. So it's like when you're between a rock and a hard place is a pickle.
Like, I know what a pickle is, and I don't think he did a good job of explaining that. And so the queen just kind of like looks at you and looks over at Moped and is just like, all right.
It means you're in a bad situation. Is that?
Oh, okay. Oh, well, what's going on,
The
Grinderbin?
worst description of a pickle.
Like, you win an award for the worst description of a pickle. Yeah.
Well, but like a pickle is a cucumber that you have soaked in vinegar, but that's not helpful in this scenario.
Right. That's why when I was confronted with this situation, Sigmar chose not to even bother.
Totally
I'm not going to get into this.
valid.
This is not important.
So Moped, like takes in the awkward silence and it's just like, what's going on, Grinderbin? Like, what can we help you with?
Like, okay, it's been a real doozy of a, what is this? What is it, 4 o'clock now? It's quite an afternoon.
Yeah, just in the afternoon, almost dinner time.
Like, we got shuttled out to the mine, which was great, and we appreciate that. And everybody else is still in there with Popper's glow stick, are still in there. But I had to go back out with Morbid here because we had to get some supplies. And in trying to get those supplies, it turns out someone may, despite being a mushroom person, may have thought that I was an outsider and threatened to sell me to some other people. But we made it out, obviously.
And the Queen O comes up and is like, well, Grinderbin, yes, that's why we went to such steps to keep you away from the citizens.
Oh yeah, that was
because if they knew you were an outsider, they would do stuff like that.
Yeah, that was a brilliant plan that we really bungled. And by we, I am going to take most of the responsibility for that because despite being a group effort, I was the one out there. That was I know you don't like getting, sunshine, or I guess in this case, maybe mushroom iridescent light blowing up your backside would be probably the proper saying here. But yeah, that was actually a really smart decision. We definitely should have listened to.
You're not the best conversationalist.
Well, I mean, they just had a life, threatening situation.
He's frazzled.
Yeah,
Okay.
very frazzled. Just happy to feel somewhat safe.
Okay.
Also, we have learned
Yes.
Queen likes being real straightforward.
I do like being very. I also like it when you get to the point.
Yeah,
So
I
how
call
can
what you were doing there was being straightforward.
Oh, I guess I was trying to add some backstories to understand it. So, lost money, but we need some supplies in order to take care of the earthquakes that we cannot procure otherwise. That I'm gonna need your help with, so I can get back to the cave and help the rest of the group out. I'm sure they're doing fine though.
Of course. Yes. I mean, you should have come here in the first place. We have all sorts of house mages. We could have given you all the supplies you needed for free, of course.
Oh wow! All right. Well, let me give you my shopping list then, and then we can take care of that. Guy, you really, if you ever want to open trade up with the top side, you let me know because you're the kind of people I want to do business with.
That's a long conversation. Let's start with if you can help us with our problem, and that will help garner
course.
some goodwill. So far, you've eaten my food, and now you're taking supplies from me. So we don't have a great relationship. You have offered to help, and I'm appreciative of that.
Certainly one-sided at the moment. We're working on balancing the scales.
Excellent. Have you made any headway in discovering anything about King
Yeah,
Caesar?
they're in the associates along with that Popper's glow stick are in the mine
course.
at the moment.
The mine
so,
master.
and
Okay,
I'm-
so they are in the mines right now.
oh yeah, absolutely, doing a bang-up job, I'm sure.
All right. So what supplies are you getting from the queen?
Okay, I need many a knives.
Many a knife.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. No problem.
I need some climbing equipment because spelunking.
Sure.
No one said that, but I think we need that. I need the food supplies for making a bunch of those magical sandwiches for Dabarella.
Absolutely.
I need just a bunch of food to stuff in the bag. I need the scrolls of comprehend language
Okay.
and
Okay.
what I say, fill the bags with, and then any, Healy items that they might have. Any more healing. I've got 2 healing potions. Boy, howdy, we could use some more.
Ooh, dang. Oh, that didn't roll public, but I wanted it to roll public. I just did a roll to see, basically like a luck check, to see if they would have specifically the Scroll of Comprehend Language. I rolled a natural 20. So as it turns out, they had that ready.
Wow.
You really should have just went to the Queen. I don't know whose idea it was to go to the store.
I don't know. It could have been
been anybody's.
It could have been anybody. I really don't remember. But yeah, this was definitely the smarter thing.
So absolutely, yeah. The Queen gets you food. You need some. We have plenty of climbing gear, of course. Like blah blah. We're a mining folk. What I found down in the archives was these scrolls. Like how many scrolls of comprehend language were you looking for?
Grinderbin only needs 2. But if there are more,
how many you got?
I'll say 2. Like 2's
Okay,
easy.
cool.
Like she's like, obviously we all speak the same language down here, so I can't believe we have these. These must have been very old from the before time. So here, yeah, scrolls of comprehend language, climbing gear, all sorts of food. Absolutely, like you get whatever you need.
Like, oh my gosh, you are just. I don't even know. This is.
Quit while you're ahead, Grinderbin, right?
Just stop crying.
Legitimately, like overwhelmed, like so helpful, so nice. Definitely the kind of people
Absolutely.
Grinderbin enjoys. Also, pop the cork on one of those health potions and chug it just in case, because they have been at half health this entire time, and that was wearing on my heart rate.
No problem. While you're there, give me a perception check.
Oh, heck yeah. Oh, and we don't have to roleplay it, but I will drop the name of the person and shop, just in case. I don't know if they are a known trafficker or.
So you're gonna snitch.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, great. Oh, okay. Oh, and yeah, and the Queen says, absolutely. I will make sure that our local police in that area keep an extra eye on any unsavory activity, of course.
Cool. And that's a 19 perception.
Perception is 19. For 19, what I'm going to say is, you get all of your stuff. You're kind of then, getting ready to hop back out with Morbid to head back to the mines. Something that you will notice, nothing alarming, but you definitely notice a few more guards in the area.
Ooh.
Like, you notice that the hall seems to be filled with a few more soldiers. And kind of as you're having your back and forth with the Queen, you do notice that the 2 kings are going over some of the materials that were in the back room regarding Fuzzy Hug. And then we're gonna cut back to Mortimer and Davella.
Ooh, you're really gonna leave me stewing in that one. Okay.
Okay, so we got a choice. We can either follow Weird Lady towards Rumble, 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 or I can follow this weird magical trace I've picked up on. But before I make a decision, Mortimer's gonna go over to this big bit of wood sticking out of a wall. And because he's getting that magical sense and he's noticing all these weird dudes like touching the wooden bits and not moving, he's just suddenly gotten very curious about it. So Mortimer turned to Davella and said, if I space out, drag me away from this thing, okay? And so just sort of gently run his hand along some of the wood and see if he can pick anything up.
You're gonna touch like some of the roots that are coming out of the wall.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Okie dokie.
Give me a Constitution saving throw.
Oh, bollocks.
Now, see, that's what I'm good at.
13.
Oh, good. You might have to
Okay.
make one too after dragging him out.
No, with a 13, you remain mostly lucid. What you notice as you run your hand across this root, this vegetation that's coming out of the cave, is like that a sweet, like a sap starts coming out of it where you run your fingers across. And as you are touching it, you do start to hear, I guess the best way to describe it is a feeling that you are supposed to be down here. Now you, with a 13 saving throw, you don't feel compelled to do anything. You don't have to do anything. Mortimer is not like under a magical spell, but it's nice down here. That's what I'm going to say. You feel like it's nice down here.
Oh, Davella, it's really nice down here, isn't it? Maybe I've just spent too much time underground, but suddenly I'm really starting to see the appeal.
Deborah just grabs his arms and goes, yes, it's very nice, but maybe we should just keep following the nice lady for a little bit.
I'm suddenly very curious about this magical thing I sense down this hall. Do you think she'd be polite? Do you think it'd be impolite to just quickly check while they wait?
Maybe we should ask first.
You look over at the nude lady who just goes.
Okay, but we'll just sort of indicate with curiosity towards the other path.
And she points down the path and question .
Yeah. Okay, well, I'll point to the route I just touched and to the dude over there who's stuck to the wall, and I'll just sort of I guess put a happy expression on her face.
We go
Okay.
full anime.
Okay. Ding.
And sort of question,
and
sort of questioning thumb. Finish with a questioning thumb towards the corridor.
And she moves closer to you, and as you see, there's kind of this root by her, and she looks at it, looks at you, and is like, and she grabs onto the root, and you see that kind of dead stare in front of her as she grabs onto the root, and as she takes her hands off, you notice that sticky fluid kind of on her hands, and what is that called?
A tendril.
Yeah, tendril from the root. Give me a either perception or investigation. I want to see if you notice something.
Can I give a perception check?
Absolutely.
You don't need to, it turns out.
Oh,
Okay, never
Mortimer
mind.
with a natural 20. Then you get all the information. So when you ran your hand across the vine, it was this, viscous fluid that, you could kind of pick off of your fingers, like honey.
Yeah.
When she grabbed on, you noticed the tendrils, but you also noticed that it sucked into her hand. And that made you kind of more notice the palm of her hand. And she has fingers, she has a thumb, she has a palm. You notice the palm of her hand. And you notice it kind of close up as if there were slits in it, and it closed up and sucked up the viscous fluid.
Well, this is getting weird.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they'd be interested in your particular brand of cooking, Dabarella.
I don't think so either. They seem a bit strange.
Okay, you know what? I just want to take a quick look. I'm just going to take a quick look down this way.
Stay close to me just in case something bad happens, because I'm strong.
Well, hold the phone. I just spotted a corpse.
Where?
Yes, as you go down that cavern, you see that this nude lady kind of shuffles her way past you
Yeah.
and heads over to a skeleton, a corpse of a human-sized skeleton.
That's
over here.
Purrs.
And you, what you see is this nude lady place a hand on the skeleton, and look to you and seems to be speaking in a loving gibberish.
Okay, showing all due respect to the corpse, and trying not to touch anything that the corpse is touching, I noticed there's a little journal next to the corpse there.
There sure is.
And I noticed the stuff.
There sure is.
Okay, I'm gonna sort of slowly go for the journal, sort of keep an eye on the naked lady in case I'm offending her.
As you get closer to the corpse, you definitely notice like all of these root systems and tendrils are kind of wrapped around the skeleton and feeding back into the cave wall. You find a journal of Mull Cutpurse, if you will.
Well, I'm going to read the fuck out of it.
And there's not much there, but what you can read, it says, "My children, I will be gone by the time you are born, but know that I give my life for you. All I ask is that you are reflections of your beautiful mother. Fill the world with visions of Celia."
What the fuck? Celia went up, though. Celia went above ground.
Celia was the mushroom lady who seduced the king of the human and dwarf lands. I think we're happening upon some answers here.
What happened to Turpin?
These are the babies of a mushroom-human mixture?
Well, I'm a massive,
Hybrid?
mongrel, so I can believe it. In fact, yeah, I've probably got a bunch of mushroom way back when in the old genetics.
You might have some mushroom in you. You don't know. And yeah, you see this, this lady, this nude lady, kind of, she has a couple hands like on the where the knee would be, and just like, yeah, just very happy.
I kind of want that staff.
Well, you're free to try to take it.
Dabarella points at the staff and then points at herself and goes, like, as if like, me take?
And the nude woman just kind of looks at you, is like, doesn't seem to understand what it is you're asking.
Well, you could try to take it, but it looks like it might be positioned in a sort of, memorial sort of way. So I would risk it myself.
If you'd like an insight, I'll give you an insight check there.
I'll do insight. Oh, not so good.
Oh,
Not
shit.
so good at all.
You can't make heads or tails. Mortimer says it looks like it's reverential. It might be, it might not be. With a 1 or with a 4 and a 6.
Hang on. I want to try something before we make any potentially offensive moves.
Okay.
I'm going to use my time-honored and ever-useful spell of minor illusion, cantrip, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll recall when we looked at that picture of the mushroom lady, I've made a special point of saying that Mortimer would memorize the appearance of that mushroom lady.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to create a minor illusion of that mushroom lady, just like the top
I have a
half,
feeling she doesn't look like that anymore.
and to float in the air.
The nude woman comes up to you and does try to grab at it, and is making similarly loving gibberish noises towards it.
Okay.
But can't grab it because it's an illusion.
Okay, now I'll keep the illusion going and then go rumble, 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 and sort of with a slightly questioning expression.
And she's done with your bullshit. And she just says, "Come on."
Okay, fine. Let's go.
And heads back down the cavern where she was originally heading. Back this way.
Well, that was illuminating.
That brings us to Sigmar. And Sigmar, you were heading down.
Yeah, down the ladder from
right?
that little side room.
You pop down to a shockingly lush cave area. There is vegetation everywhere. You even see what appears to be kind of underground trees sprouting out of the wall, like big trees, giant mushrooms that are glowing, that are illuminating the area. You also see some sleeping sacks and a little desk with a notebook.
So first I want to address two poppers. These glowing mushrooms must be what's causing that light further down the tunnel. So I'm assuming if we keep going that way, we'd probably find more of these.
There was no light down the tunnel. What are you talking about?
The tunnel was purple. You agreed with me that the tunnel was turning purple.
We could see that the rocks were purple.
The rocks were purple?
Because of the daylight.
But what made the
I
rocks
was the
purple?
only light. Technically speaking, I am still radiating daylight,
True.
but it just looks cooler if I don't have it on down here, scene-wise. So,
I assume that purple was like illuminating from something, and not that the actual ground was changing in color.
no, like look around us. The rocks are like
So
he,
the rock
he
is-
scoops
okay.
up the. He scoops up the ground and he's like,
It's
the
purple
dirt
dirt.
is purple.
Wow, okay.
It's crazy. I've never seen this.
Blowing my mind right now because that's not what I thought this was.
Gotcha. Yeah.
The amount of times he's
listen.
explained rocks to you.
Well, we don't have them
this
on the
is my
surface.
whole job. This is my whole thing. Purple rocks. I've never seen that. Never.
Wow, all right. Well, then these mushrooms, they're actually glowing though, right? Like I'm not making that up.
Oh yeah. Like, you know, he kind of like covers up his like jacket so he's not illuminating light. Like, look, these mushrooms are these are magical mushrooms or incandescent. I don't know how they work. It's crazy.
I am wearing gloves, right?
Sure.
So I'm assuming I wouldn't be affected by just grabbing some mushroom. All right, I'll say.
What kind like I'm not gonna do this. I'm just gonna wait and see your reaction. I'm not giving you anything.
All right, well, Sigmar takes like a small piece of mushroom. Like I detach it from the base to see if it still glows one, and then to take with me in the future.
Okay.
So I've removed
so
the smallest mushroom I can get my hands on.
Oh, so you're taking like a whole stem, like a stem
but
of
like
mushroom.
small enough to fit in the bag.
Okay, yeah. You kind of reach in, you pluck one out. You notice that yes, it still has a faint purple glow to it, and so you're gonna stick it in your bag.
Yes.
Okay, great. Give me a dexterity check.
I am wearing gloves, by the way.
You are 100% wearing gloves.
Dexterity.
Absolutely.
Ability check
just
or
wanna see
saving
how-
throw?
A check. I want to see how gingerly you rip this mushroom.
Come on.
Ooh.
Did you go in with your teeth?
Like, why is it so hard to just pick up?
Give me that.
Yes. So basically, you brush away some of these mushrooms. Get out of here, tree! Like, I got a mushroom. Like you are like tripping over shit to get this mushroom. Is basically what happened with a natural one. And what you notice is that the very large underground tree starts to move and face in your direction, and you hear its roots start coming up from the ground, and a horrible like creaking noise as it starts lurching towards you. Cut back to Grinderbin. Grinderbin, you were leaving the
mistake.
castle.
Yeah.
Now I'm wondering if it was the worm causing the earthquakes.
Morbid drops you off and takes his post back up by the front of the mines, and it's empty.
Hello? Go in a little bit, and I'm sure one of the directions that they saw them go in earlier is now just a wall of rubble. It's like, oh. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Damn. Mortimer. Poppers. Nobody. Oh boy.
Give me
Cool. This is working out really well.
How about a perception? Give me a perception.
Grinderbin's big day.
Yeah, this episode should really be called Grinderbin's No Good, Very Bad Day.
No good, very bad bullshit day.
Except for a natural 20
wow.
perception check.
That's nervousness just overtaking all other senses.
You hear something down this path.
Cool. That's certainly a way I want to go.
You hear something, and with a natural 20, it does not sound like a dangerous thing. It sounds like a helpful thing.
I'm very curious what a helpful sound sounds like.
Help me.
Perhaps to you it sounds like Dabarella's footsteps. Like they're just down that path. Like everyone's they're down that path.
So-
Whoopsie, they must not have heard
So
me.
really heavy but padded.
Yes,
Got it. Yeah, all right. Big cat, padded feet. Got it. Okay. I'll head that way. Sure. This is, how could it get worse? Really. Let's go that way. I'm assuming I have some sort of light source. If I'm going in the mines. I'm assuming because I couldn't have made it this far without one.
Sure, yeah. I'll say you have like a lantern.
Okay, cool.
You have a little lantern with you that you got at the front of the mines. Absolutely.
Cool. Going this way.
And as you get closer, what happens is out of the ground, in a soft spot of dirt, you see a little mushroom man pop up.
Oh.
And he looks at you and he goes, "Hey, you're the big one. I found him. I found the big one." And boop.
Oh boy. Oh, this is either gonna go real good or real bad.
Several little mushroom folk pop up and, boop, 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 boop. Hey!
Hello there. And hello there, and hello there, and hello there, and hello there.
And they're all just like neck straining, looking up at you like, how'd you get so big?
I ate my eggs. Gotta eat a lot of eggs.
I thought you got more protein. We need more protein. This is how we get
Very
big.
important. A good nutritious diet when you're young really helps you sprout.
Cool. We saw you walk into town, and then we saw you in the murder dome, and then we thought we'd come here, and you just look so cool.
Oh, is this where you all live?
We're underground folk. Obviously everybody sees underground, but we're underground.
Oh, that deep under. Yeah, I makes sense. Yeah. See, I mean, good spot. Nice and moist. Not too much light. Feels very homey.
Exactly.
Oh, it's just really nice. Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, I'm not used to people recognizing me, but yeah, I think I might have saw you out there too. I'm glad. You're really friendly.
very
That's
excited.
nice. Some people, aren't as friendly as you, and that's gonna be honest, kind of a real damper on my day.
Sure. Yeah, you gotta be careful. Upsiders, we don't see many of them very much. No. It's that thing of like meeting a celebrity,
Oh, yeah.
and they just don't know how to react to you. They're just like so in awe of like getting like, hey, so what do you do? What do you want to hang out? What's going on?
Just want to hang out.
Yeah.
I've got some chums that came through here, and it seems like they are just gone. You know where they went by chance?
Oh, the other upsiders?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. They fell down a hole.
Oh, shucks golly.
Big earthquake happened. They fell down a hole. It was crazy.
Oh, no. Do you know... I mean, I don't think it's a system of slides, but do you know maybe where that hole went?
It probably went down. Yeah. But you probably don't want to go down there though.
Oh, no. What's down there?
The Wormshippers.
I'm sorry, the what?
The Wormshippers.
I'm really hoping this is a boat made out of worms.
No, it's a bunch of people who worship a giant worm that's gonna destroy everything.
Called that.
Pretty messed up down there.
Ah, so like a apocalypse kind of religion sort of thing? Like do they want the worm to destroy everything?
We don't talk to them very much. It's creepy AF down there.
Shit, they're doomsday preppers.
And with that, we will cut to Mortimer and Dabarella.
Who know none of that.
who know none of that, but...
What clangs in the darkness? For anyone watching and or listening, please note that clangs in our scene is in all caps. Everything else is lowercase.
Absolutely.
But clangs is caps.
Yes. So what you notice as you start heading down the cave path is you start to hear a ringing, a metal on metal, glung, glung, very, very much like a deep bell. And as you walk into what seems to be a grand hall with a giant metal pipe leading into a hole in the ground, in the very cave itself, and a bunch of these nude people rhythmically hitting it with hammers. Cling, cling.
What's it leading into? Like, I can't, like, what are we looking at that's at, like, the edge?
This? Or
Yes.
this right here? That seems to be a giant creature's skull that is half embedded in the cave wall. And then this is a metal pipe with certain things, like certain pipes sticking out of it, and then all these wormshippers, who, I mean, the players now know what they are, but all of these nude folk are rhythmically hitting it with hammers, making a giant, deep, clanging sound.
Mortimer will say to Davella, "This is how they're agitating the worm. This is how they're making the worm go crazy."
I'm not convinced. I have a feeling the worm's dead.
Well, what's making all the rumbling then?
Turpin and Celia? Some mutated forms of them that have been living here for centuries being worshipped. I don't know.
Well, what's with the banging the pipe? I mean, banging a pipe is exactly how you summon worms. You make vibrations go through the ground. Like in that episode of The Simpsons, Mortimer says.
Man, Simpsons have been on for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on, but what I have inferring, Davella, is that if we wanted these earthquakes to stop, we need to stop them doing whatever the hell they're doing.
I think that's a good idea.
All right, what's the plan, leader?
What's all the little hammer things on the table thingies?
What?
Say that again.
What are the little hammer things?
You can go over and look at them if you'd like.
I would like to do that.
Sure. The little hammer things are hammers.
Ah, cool. That's good to know.
What a twist.
So, we know it's a creature head. Can
Yeah,
we do
you do see a creature.
a perception check or something? Actually, I kind of want to do two checks. I want to do one to see if we have any inkling of what this might be. The second thing I'd like to do is do a strength check to see how secure it is.
All right.
What's the plan, Davella?
Tell me what you're doing. Okay, so what check do you want to
I'd
do
like
first?
to do the perception check first. I'd like to see if we have any inkling of if this is something that we've seen or have an idea of what it is.
The head?
Yes.
Okay, well, yeah, give me a nature check. Then.
Do a nature check.
Nature or history?
Narrow to 5.
17.
Yeah, with a 5, Dabarella, you have no clue what kind of creature head this is. With a 17, though they have not been around for a long, long time, there are stories of dragons. And so, Mortimer, you would only assume that is the head of a dragon.
Okay. Gabriella, that's a dragon's skull. And I'm thinking we might already know what dragon it belonged to.
That's what I think.
Let's cut over to Sigmar real quick. Sigmar, a giant tree is now creaking its way towards yourself and Popper's glow stick, just because you have disturbed its solitude.
Right.
Anything you would like to do in this particular situation?
Can Sigmar infer this tree's disposition?
Oh, sure, yeah. Without even a roll, this tree is pissed
Shit.
at you. You've like trampled the mushrooms around. Like because of your natural 1 dexterity check pulling that mushroom. Basically, like you peed on this tree. Like it's like it does not like you, and it looks like it's going to attack you. And it is a giant tree.
So how big is this cavern we're in that a giant tree can just sprout up that we didn't see before?
This is a. Well,
the tree was in here, right?
Yeah, the tree. I told you that there was a giant underground tree in there. It's very specifically.
Okay. So it is not attacking yet. It's just.
It is. We are in Matrix style slow-mo time as the tree is starting to take steps towards you. I'm giving you an opportunity to think on your feet before I have you roll initiative. Is what I'm saying.
Crap.
Oh, and actually, you know what? Before that happens, perception check. Give me perception check.
Sure.
You don't hear shit. With a 7. With a 7, all you are focused on is this giant menacing tree that is lumbering towards you.
All right. So I'm assuming I'm very shocked by this tree. I'm surprised.
Yeah.
I'm gonna basically start stammering to Poppers like up, go back up the ladder.
back up the ladder.
We attempt to run back up to the cave where we came from.
Oh, okay. The tree is gonna make a little swipey at you. Let's see if it hits you. It does not. The tree like slowly swipes your way, rolls a natural 1, and yes, you are able to crawl back up the ladder with these tree branches kind of wiggling after you.
We all roll poorly down here.
So you climb back up. You are now in that tiny room campsite, and you start to feel a big vibration heading your
this is
way.
Already what I identified as like a celestial creature, right?
Correct. What you already identified as a celestial is now very, very close.
How close are we talking? Like if I walk out of this room.
Here's what I'm gonna say. Here's what I'm gonna say. Is you feel the rumbling. You poke your head outside the room,
Sure.
And so does Poppers because with his daylight glow. And filling up the entirety of this enormous cavern is a giant spiked worm barreling towards you, this colossal beast, and then all of a sudden you see as it opens its giant gaping maw and it barrels past you, not even noticing you as you would be a speck to it.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow,
see,
indeed.
Do you remember, because I've rewatching the old videos, do you remember when we liberated Jeremy and Jeremy told us about King Fuzzy Hugs and the other thing? Jeremy said that these beings were celestial in origin. They were refugees from the ethereal plane, Jeremy said.
Yeah, they are otherworldly beings, exactly where the Celestials are from. Heavenly beings.
But like I can't talk to it though.
I guess we'll find out next week. Back at Adventures Nigh. Now that's a cliffhanger. We finally reached King Fuzzy Hug. Thanks everybody for watching and or listening. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.